Yo, what's good, fam? Welcome to P&P. It's your boy Rashad, one half of P&P, and today we have our top 10 wide receivers of the 2022 NFL Draft. Yes, this wide receiver class is straight up loaded. It's a loaded class, a lot of injured guys, but loaded nonetheless. And I know you're going to say, Rashad, you missed some guys. All right, bet everybody can't be in the top 10, but if you are so inclined to let me know that I missed a guy, hit the comment section. Let me know who you think should be in the top 10. Okay. Now, before we get into this, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, get in the comments, all that good stuff. We're trying to get to 25,000. 20,000 is the next step. We're at 15,000 right now. Let's get to 20,000 first. Then we're trying to get to 50,000. I'm hoping that by the combine, we can get to 20,000 subs. I know it's aggressive. The combine, we're going to have a lot of people. We're going to be covering this joint live. We're going to be live streaming it. So I expect a lot of new subs. I expect to get to 20,000 by the end of the combine. So hit that subscribe button for your boy. Let's make it happen. Now, get into the top 10. Top 10 wide receivers. Before we get into that, I want to let you know how we're going to grade these, how we're going to rank these guys. I do have some specific stats. You know how I do this. I don't just go off of film. I don't just go off of stats. I like to combine the two. And when I combine the two, I come up with my ranking. All right. Now, the specific stats we have in regards to the wide receivers are receiving grade, and this is PFF scores. Receiving grade, grade versus man coverage. We have the drop rate, contested catch percentage, missed tackles, yak yards per reception, and then I have yardage per where they line up. So slot, deep, and screen yards. So all that is taken into account. Then I say, all right, this is where I'm going to rank them. So again, I don't just make a decision based off of the film alone. I combine it with stats and I go from there. Now, let's go ahead and jump into this. Coming in at number 10, we have Justyn Ross, 6'4", 205 pound wide receiver out of Clemson. And listen, I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, man, he wasn't that great and blah blah blah. And I know he wasn't the same dude after his freshman year. I understand that the numbers fell off. I get that. But this man has too much talent for me to ignore. All right. Let's look at the receiving grade. 73 receiving grade, 71.3 versus man coverage. Had a drop rate of 2.1%. That's great. That is fantastic. Contested catch percentage of 50%, which is solid. 9 missed tackles, 4 yards per 4.5 yards yak per reception, and then you can see where he made his hay. All right, so a lot of his yards came in the slot. He didn't do a ton of damage this year, and I attribute that a lot to the quarterback play at Clemson. They had some issues going on. That Clemson team struggled mightily this year, and I attribute a lot of that to the quarterback play. But you know, he's a solid player, man. I love this guy. I love Justyn Ross, and listen, I do end up thinking he's gonna go in the 3rd round. But he has way too much talent, and I think he does have to develop. His body never really developed. He never really took the next step after his freshman year. But I do think he can do that in a NFL system. I think he's solid at the catch point. Let's go ahead and roll these highlights. He's solid at the catch point. I think he's gonna be a possession wide receiver. He can play big slot role in the NFL, and I think he's got to improve on using his size advantage. He's got to bulk up. He's got to bulk up and get up to about 220, 225, and that way he can take advantage of the smaller cornerbacks. Once he can do that, he'll really take that next step. But he's got to do that. He's got a big wingspan he's got to take care of. He's able to get the balls outside of his wingspan. Again, 6'4". The route tree, he's solid with the route tree. He did have that spinal surgery, which is crazy, which forced him to miss the 2020 season and damn near jeopardized his entire career. Again, so he's got some issues. There are some question marks around his game, but I think there's a lot to pull from. So that's why I have Justyn Ross at number 10. You can make an argument for other guys being there, but I just think there's too much there for me to completely ignore Justyn Ross. All right, let's move on. Coming in at number 9, we have Jahan Dodson, 5'11", 184 pound wide receiver out of Penn State, and he's got some solid stuff here. Look at his receiving grade, 87.2 receiving grade, 67.5 against man coverage, a little bit low there. Again, the drop rate is low, 2.2%. That's really, really solid. 41% 41.7% contested catch percentage. That's a little bit lower than some of the other guys on the list. Mine's nine missed tackles and 5.3 yards per or yak yardage per reception. And look, you can see where he did his damage. Slot receiver, got busy deep too. This dude is paused. He's a very good wide receiver. I think he's going to be a plug-and-play wide receiver at the next level. And again, 5'11". He's at 184. He's able to play through a lot of contact too. Again, he only dropped 2 of 93 catchable balls this season. So a very, very solid guy, man. Solid talent. Let's run some of those highlights here. And again, I think he's very good. And I think he's going to be a reliable slot guy. I think he can improve on his muscle mass. He can stand to add some muscle to his frame. He's a very good decisive route runner. Not a lot of wasted motion. He's got again 5.2 drop rate over his career. What I showed you earlier was this season, but over his career he maintained that low drop percentage. Very, very good. And with the ball in his hands, he has very good sight. You can see right there. He's got very good vision. He turns damn near into a returner in space. So he's very solid there. Obviously, he doesn't have the frame to play outside, although he does have great long arms for his height. He struggles when corners get his hands on him. He struggles a little bit there. Speed is solid. He's not the fastest dude in the world. And one of the bigger concerns is that he's a little bit older. He's going to be 22 on draft day, and he didn't break out until his junior season. So there's a few things you have to worry about, but I think he's going to be solid at the end of the day, especially if your team is looking for a solid slot wide receiver. Moving on. Coming in at number 8, I have David Bell from Purdue. 6'2", 205 pounds. Man, this guy is very, very talented. Again, I like this cat a lot. Looking at his receiving grade, 86.9 versus man coverage, a solid 79.8. 5.1% drop rate, which is not bad. 42.3% contested catch percentage, not terrible. 25 missed tackles, that's solid. That's very good. That's a lot of missed tackles. And 5.8 yak yardage per reception. So that's very, very good. He checks a lot of boxes when it comes to that position. Again, he's not gonna separate. He's not the fastest dude in the world, but he's physical, right? He's a physical guy, and as you can see, he gets busy deep when it comes to those contested catches. He can force some of those catches and become a very, very good receiver. Again, I think the game really comes easy to him. He has a very, very pause. This super pause on this. All right, he has a solid lower half. Okay, so when he catches the ball, dudes just bounce off of him. All right, so he's very, very good when it comes to that yak yardage. You can see 5.8 yak yardage per reception. That's solid, bro. That means he can separate, he can get away from you once he catches the ball. All right. And one of the things to note is that everybody knew he was pretty much the man at Purdue, and he was still able to produce. Now, as far as negatives or cons, he doesn't really have a second gear, right? Cornerbacks can make up ground on him. So once he gets out in the open field, although he's not going to be able to, he can break some or make some dudes miss. Guys are able to catch up with him, and I feel like there's so much production on contested catches, but I don't know if he has the size to continue that in the NFL, right? He has a lot of contested catches are damn near his, but in the NFL, the guys are going to get bigger, they're going to get stronger. So I don't know if he'll be able to continue that in the NFL. We'll have to see. But I think he has a natural feel for the position, and I think he knows how to play with leverage, right? He knows how to use his 6'2", 205 pound frame. But again, I think he can turn that 6 yards into 10 yards. He's got that ability to separate. So I like him. I like him a lot. People are sleeping on him because he went to Purdue, but I think he's a solid wide receiver, bro. Very, very good wide receiver. I don't think there's much improvement in some of the areas that you would think. I think he's very good. I just think that he really has to. I feel like he slept on a little bit. He slept on. So don't get caught sleeping on David Bell. I like him a lot. Moving on. Coming in at number 7, we have John Metchie out of Alabama. John Metchie out of Alabama, 6 foot, 195 pounds. wide receiver. I should say 195, not 95. If it was 95 pounds, that would be a problem. So apologies for that. But yeah, this kid, again, Alabama, they stay with the talent. 79.5 receiving grade, and 80.4 against man coverage. That's very good. Drop rate of 7.7. It's a bit higher than I'd like to see. Contested catches, are his. He's winning the contested catches, 20 missed tackles, and 6.7 yak yards per reception. And he's a slot maniac. This dude is a beast in the slot. He gets busy, okay? I think he's pro ready. If you want to plug him and put him in a slot, plug and play, I think he's going to be solid, bro. He's very solid. He knows how to win with route running. He's got a very good IQ when it comes to route running. He has I think the only worry is that he's going to be designated as a slot in the NFL, right? I think he's been so good there. I think he's going to be designated as a slot guy, and that could be a bit of a downside. I think limited speed. He's got limited speed, and the catch radius is a little bit smaller than I'd like. So that's probably going to project him as a number 2 slot guy, which is not bad. It's just that, you may get pegged as that. And as far as another thing he can improve on is his health, right? That's something he's got to maintain that health. That's really the biggest thing. He's got the ACL recovery. He tore his ACL in the college football playoff semifinal. That's not a good sign. He lacks the high-end physical tools, right? So we talked about that. And he's not a very physical player, He gets boxed out a lot on his routes against big corners. So you never want to see that. Some of the bigger corners kind of box him out, and you never want to see that. You want to see your guys win the physical battles. In the NFL, it's only going to get tougher, right? But I will say his yak ability from 2020 to 2021 went crazy. And I think his release, that's what makes him such a good slot receiver, the releases, bro. He does not let the cornerbacks get their hands on him. And once he's able to release, that's where he can make up for some of the physical deficiencies, all right? So I think he's very good. He's crafty, and I think he's a very decent route runner. But we'll see what happens. Again, I think he's got to get a little bit bigger. I think he could stand to put on a few more pounds, and not get pegged as that slot wide receiver. All right, let's move on. Coming in at number 6, it's probably a bit high. This is and he probably ain't in some of y'all top 10s. All right, but George Pickens, out of Georgia, right? This is a guy that I absolutely love. 6'3", 200-pound wide receiver out of Georgia. And listen, there's too much. He's too good. He was too good last year before he tore that ACL. He was a very, very dominant player. He was on his way to being the top receiver in this draft class. He was on his way, and I'm not even going to let's not even talk about the stats, because it's pointless for us to even talk about his stats that he put up this year, because he didn't play much. He didn't play much at all this year. And so there's really not much to talk about. All right. But what we can go back and what we can do is go back and look at his film in prior seasons. Right. Is he going to be the same dude after the ACL? The medicals. I'm not a doctor. The medicals have to check that out. Right. Again, a lot of these wide receivers are hurt. They've been hurt. We can't do nothing about that. I can only project as if they can recover and be their best selves again. All right. He's got to get better and show what he showed before he got hurt, because he was a beast. He was a monster. He was going to be WR1. He was going to do that. I'm telling you, he was that good. And I feel like he showed a little bit more of that. As he got back through the college football playoff, he showed that he was a beast. He showed that he was a problem, all right? And I feel like he can continue to do that. Now, let's talk about some of the negatives, the positive and negatives in his game. I feel like he's not going to be that type of guy to take the top off of a defense. I feel like he was, and again, going back to this year, he was only on the field for 35 pass plays this season after tearing his ACL. And again, he did have an issue. He was suspended for violating team rules and kicked out of a game for fighting as a freshman. Who cares about all that stuff? Just bringing it up, but don't really care about that. But he's so good at getting that late separation, which is so key for wide receivers. Getting that late separation, being able to control the DB and separate late, it's awesome, bro. The shoulder nudges, the subtle leans in his game. I love that. He's able to swat the hands away consistently, win at the line of scrimmage and throughout his route. So he's very, very good player, bro. And again, at the catch point, he's dominant. The 50-50 balls are his. He's going to win those things. He's dominant at the catch point. So he has the skill set. He has what it takes. Not going to be the fastest dude in the world. I'm not going to say he has the biggest route tree, but he's super physical. He has elite ball skills. That's what helps you win in the NFL. Can you be physical, and can you win at the catch point? That he can do, and that's why I'm higher on George Pickens than most. I saw his freshman season. I think he still has it. And again, I'm higher on him than most. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, moving on. Coming at number 5, we had Treylon Burks. I know this is probably a bit low for some of y'all. I know some of y'all love Treylon Burks, okay? But I have a few things, all right? Looking at his receiving grade, through the roof. 90.8, one of the higher receiving grades on this list. Versus man coverage, 81.1. The drop rate, solid 5.8%. Contested catch, 43.8%. Missed tackles, 15 of those things. 9.3 yak yards per reception. That is a lot. And obviously, as you can see, he got busy damn near all over the field. The slot, he got busy. He was able to get you deep. Pause. He was able to win on the screen, in the screen game as well. So he's a very, very good player. He was able to beat you all over the field. At 6'3", 225 pounds, this cat has unrivaled size. All right, 6'3", 225 pounds, and to add on that, the speed that this man has, he's going to be a very good player. You don't find this combination of size, speed, and ball skills, pause, in this class. It's there. It's all there. He's projected to be a big slot receiver. Okay, so he played a lot of slot. We know that he played a lot of slot, and I think he can. I think he has the ability to win outside and one-on-ones. And I think he's obviously going to be able to dominate in the red zone. I feel like the big slot is where he's going to. He can kill. He's a matchup nightmare in that big slot role. He's got very, very good speed, very, very good size, and that's where he's going to win. His vertical route is a weapon. He reminds me. Matter of fact, it reminds me a lot of AJ Brown, but he's going to be able to win. He can stack up the cornerbacks really, really obviously with that speed, he's going to be able to stack cornerbacks and just run past them. And then where he can improve, which is the biggest knock on him, is why it's a little bit low for me. He has a limited route tree. All right, he has a limited route tree. Arkansas obviously just say, hey, go out there and win. Obviously, when you're at the college level, you can win with your size and speed. Will you be able to do that at the NFL level? Sure, you're going to be able to win some matchups, but I'd like you to also win as a route runner as well. So that's why I'm a little bit lower on him than most. But not to say, again, he still has elite potential, right? The potential is through the roof for Burks. For Burks, excuse me. So I feel like he's going to be a very, very potentially a very good player, right? So I'm not taking anything away from him there, but he only had 39 snaps versus man coverage in 2021. So he's untested against man coverage. I'm sure he's going to see a lot more of that in the NFL. Again, 77% of his career snaps came in the slot. So can he line up elsewhere? He wasn't asked to do much, only primarily in the slot, all right? So I'd like to see a little bit there again. But he has so many positive traits to his game that you're like, all right, I got to take him. So if somebody is taking him off the potential, bro, I get it. I completely get it because he has the size and speed that you just can't match. But again, I think there are some holes in this game that you can poke if you're really looking at it, all right? Let's move on. Coming in at number 4, we have Jameson Williams, man. Another player that got hurt, and he got hurt at the worst possible, in the worst possible game. The last game of the season, in the national championship game, he goes down and tore his ACL. So that's because the reason why that's bad is because it's the latest game in the season. The recovery time for ACL is pretty long. So he's going to probably go on into the draft season. He's probably not going to be able to participate in the pro days, combines, and things like that. I know with modern medicine, things are catching up, but it just sucks. It's unfortunate that he tore his ACL in that game. But at 6'2", 189 pounds, the guy's the fastest receiver in the draft. All right, he's going to be super fast. He's going to be projected to run probably a 4.2, or a mid 4.2, low 4.3. So he's going to be fast as hell. But his receiving grade 85.1 versus man coverage 77.7. The drop rate 7.1, not terrible. Contested catches 40%. I'd like to see that a little bit higher. 12 missed tackles, and 9.3 yak yards per reception. Obviously got busy in the slot, killed people deep, and then did some slot work as well. But again, that ACL recovery is going to have to be vetted, right? The medicals are going to have to check out. But the speed, he's a home run threat, bro. Anywhere on the field, he's a home run threat. His combination of speed and yak ability for 6'2" is unmatched. Or excuse me, not unmatched, but rare. I think in the NFL, obviously going to be that deep threat. It's probably not going to be a true X, but I think he could win in possession routes. I think he's your vertical route specialist who can also take screens, jet sweeps, etc. So that's very, very solid there. I think he can add some muscle to his game. He can be very solid there once he puts on some muscle and can win some more of those contested battles. But again, he's a little bit thin. And I feel like he's not gonna be able to just bully dudes out the way, right? He's gonna lose some of those contested catches, which is evident in his 40% contested catch percentage. All right. Also, he was a bit of a 1 year wonder, right? A bit of a 1 year wonder. He was at Ohio State, and he was stuck behind Ohio State guys before transferring last summer. So it is what it is there. But again, the speed, the shiftiness at the line of scrimmage. He's both quick and fast, and he sells that vertical route by changing speeds and attacking leverage. So very, very good player when it comes to that. And I feel like, listen, man, I feel like Jameson Williams is going to be a problem. I think he reminds me a little bit more of a taller Deshaun Jackson, which is kind of scary. But I think he's going to be a very good player. Very good player at wherever he goes in the NFL. All right, let's move on. Coming in number 3, we have Drake London, man. I know a little bit lower on him than some of the top guys. I know there's been some McShay, some other guys have said he's the number 1 guy. And I can see why they say that. But he is another injured guy. I mean, I can't make this up. This is another guy that had a season-ending injury, right? 6'5", 210 pounds, crazy measurements. If you look at his receiving grade, I think he has the highest receiving grade of everyone in the class, 91.8, and then 87.1 against man coverage, drop rate of 8.3%. That's a bit higher than I'd like to see. 67.9 contested catch percentage. That's really good. That means he's winning a lot of those battles. More than half his battles he's winning, and an impressive 22 missed tackles and 5.2 yards after catch per reception. So very good there. And again, he can beat you deep. The contested catch, the 50-50 balls are his. He's going to win those joints, bro. He's going to win the 50-50 ball. He's impressive. And actually, so much so, he had 5 contested catches against both Washington and Colorado, right? So that's 10 contested catches in 2 games. And he also has 6 broken tackles on 9 catches in the final game of his career against Arizona, bro. So he's a physical nightmare, bro. 6'5", 210 pounds. Good luck. He's like a damn power forward. He's gonna be able to box you out. He's a box out nightmare. He's got a basketball background as well. So against smaller corners, he's gonna win. He's a prototypical number 1 outside receiver. I think he can improve on his speed. Not gonna be the fastest guy in the world. I think he can win. Not saying that he can't, but he can. I think he can do some things outside of that, because he's gonna win on those deep balls. He can be a deep threat too. He reminds me a little bit of Mike Evans. Honestly, that's who he reminds me of. When I turn on the film, I'm like, yo, this cat looks just like Mike Evans out there. And he's when he has the ball in his hands, bro, I think he's pretty good too. Like he's more elusive than you think. He can move, spin moves, hurdling guys. Like this dude is elusive, bro. Don't get it twisted. He's got dominant physicality, and he'll be able to maintain that throughout the NFL. 6'5". If he bulks up a little bit more, it's gonna be a nightmare, bro. I think he can shake. He can, like, obviously we just talked about, he can shake some guys. He's got an unparalleled catch radius. So he's got really good body control too, as you can see with some of these spin moves and all this other stuff. Really good player. I think he's not gonna run past a lot of guys, although he does have. I think he has some sneaky speed in him. And again, he had a season-ending broken ankle in October. Therein lies the problem. That's why he's a little bit lower on my list. And he did drop 8 of 96 catchable targets in 2021. So it's not the worst drop percentage, but it could be a little bit better. All right, let's move on. Another comparison, he reminds me a lot of Brandon Marshall as well. Moving on. All right, next up, we got Chris Olave, man. And let me just say this about Chris Olave, because I had him at number 1, then I flip-flopped. I think Chris Olave is the most surefire wide receiver in this class. I think when it comes to a surefire prospect, he is as close as it's going to get, man. This dude is a straight-up baller. 6'1", 189 pounds out of Ohio State. Receiving grade of 79.9, and a versus man coverage, he had a 70.9 grade. Drop rate of 7.1%. Contested catch 62.5%. That's very good. Only 2 missed tackles, and that's going to be the biggest knock on this game. Once he gets the ball, bro, he's going down. He ain't really gonna make a lot of guys miss in the open field. Yak yards per, he's not doing a terrible amount of damage in yak. So it is what it is. Deep, he's gonna beat you deep. Obviously, does some damage from the slot as well. Not a lot of not screen yards as well. So that's something to look for when you're looking at the stats going forward. Is the screen yard? There's a lot of that yardage coming from screen plays. All right, so that's something to watch. All right, let's take a look at these highlights real quick. So again, with the ball in his hands, not going to be the most dynamic player. He only has 10 broken tackles and 176 receptions. So it's not a terrible thing. He's a bit slimmer than you like. You put on a little bit more weight, probably getting to 195 to close to 200. I think he'd be solid there. And I think he got a negative is I think Garrett Wilson did pass him up, and obviously Garrett Wilson is the last guy left, so obviously he's gonna be number 1. But I think he did get passed up a little bit here in this last season, so it is what it is. But again, the route running, he's gonna be the best route runner in this class, bro. When it comes to the deep and intermediate levels of the field and the route running, he's too good. He's too good. He's good. He's got more than enough speed to separate downfield. And again, he's very, very sure-handed. He has a 4.9 career drop rate. And that's with a lot of his targets coming downfield, too. So it's not just these short passes. The deep balls are the ones that he's bringing in. A lot of his targets are deep because he's able to get open so easily. But again, I think he's the most polished receiver in this class. I think he's the most surefire guy. Prototypical number 2 guy. I think he's again, very high level route running, and he's got really, really good speed. I think you can leave him on an island with somebody, and I think he's gonna win. He's gonna win. So that's what I like about Chris Olave. He reminds me a little bit of Calvin Ridley, a better version of Calvin Ridley, which is saying a lot. I think Calvin Ridley's talented. All right, let's move on to number 1. All right, coming in at number 1, we have Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, 6 foot, 188 pounds. Again, I think he did pass up Chris Olave. Receiving grade of 84.5, which is very good. Versus man coverage, 83.4, which is solid as well. Drop rate of 7.9%. Contested catch percentage of 61.5. 19 missed tackles, and yak yardage per reception of 6 yards. So again, very good all over the field. I think he's able to produce at a high level from the slot and outside. You can see it all over the field. You can see where he produced. Again, I think his ability to separate is very, very good. I think he's got a lot of tools that you just can't teach, right? I think he's another one that's a bit of a can't miss guy. I do think I'd take Chris Olave. I'm not saying I'd take Chris Olave over Garrett Wilson. I just think Garrett Wilson has a little bit more potential than Chris Olave. Chris Olave is a can't miss guy who kind of is who he is. All right. Let's talk about some of these strengths and weaknesses real quick. I think, again, he's shifty. He's very shifty. He's got really good route running ability. He spun some cornerbacks around, and you wonder why he's so wide open. It's because of his route running ability, right? He's very solid. He's a guy that you can move all over the field. You can put him in the slot, put him outside. If you give him a free release, it's a wrap. Very, very good. I think the one thing that he can get better at is his play. I think he can get a little bit stronger, right? I think sometimes cornerbacks can tend to knock him off his route if they're able to make contact with him. That's the hardest part, right? Getting the hands on him or kind of jamming him up. But again, I think with the press coverage, I think he's got to get better there. Some of the taller, lengthier cornerbacks gave him a little bit of issues there. Sometimes he dances in his routes too. The timing, sometimes those timing routes in the NFL that could throw some things off there. And again, I think just the physicality could get better there. I think after the catch, he's solid. Again, he can make some dudes miss. He can get busy after the catch. And I think he's got really good body control. He can adjust to just about anything. He's got a really, really big catch radius as well. So I think, again, Garrett Wilson, to me, is going to be the best wide receiver in this class. And again, just going back to this class, bro, this class just overall has a lot of guys that are extremely talented. There's a lot of extremely talented guys in this class, but a lot of them are injured. And that's why I have Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson at the top. There's no injury concerns there. They don't have an injury history. There's guys that could have passed them, but the injuries are too big. ACLs, broken ankles. I mean, there's just a lot going on with this class. I feel like you may see some surprise guys fall, i.e. Terrace Marshall, who fell to the Carolina Panthers last year, who was supposed to be a first-round guy. He fell due to some injury concerns. You may see some elite wide receiver play fall to the second and third round. And guys better be ready to take them, because I think you could see that. There's some guys that are really, really talented guys that have, or you can at the same time, you can see guys like Jalen Waddle, who had injury issues as well, but folks still took them. I think you can see if the talent is there, there may be some guys they might be willing to take a flyer on. Others, maybe not, but we'll see. But again, that's the top 10. Let me know if I missed somebody. Get in the comments, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I work hard on these videos, so please hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff, man. I'm out.